What's going on, everybody? I hope you're all having a wonderful day today. For those of you that are new here, my name is Ty, and today in this video, we're going to be talking about my predictions for 2024. Now listen, I already made a video going over my most anticipated films of 2024, but today I want to go over some of my hot takes, whether it's about whether some movies are going to be unexpectedly really good or really bad, whether it's some news that I think that we're going to be getting, whether it's box office stuff. All of that wrapped up. I want to go over my 20 or so takes, gonna burn through them in this video. For those of you that are new here, by the way, this is not my usual setup. It's snowing like crazy right now in the Northeast US, so yeah, I was not able to go to my normal studio, so I'm just like in this office in my apartment building, so yeah, sorry for that, but I promise you the video quality will be better in the next one, but yeah, let's just dive right into things here. And if you guys like this video today, it would mean the world if you could drop a like, and also if you want to subscribe and stick around to see at the end of the year when I react to this video, seeing if my predictions were wrong or right, because I'm definitely going to do that, and we're definitely going to laugh at it, because I know that some of these are going to be hilariously wrong. That would mean so much to me, but yeah, let's just get right into this. Alright, so I've got my computer in front of me right here with all of my takes, so let's just get started right with this first one. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, coming out in May. My most anticipated movie of the year is going to be a 9+ out of 10 movie, exceed everyone's expectations, and be on par with the original trilogy. Now listen, I know that Matt Reeves isn't returning, and that scares people. I know that just the fact that they're making a new trilogy, a new film, is going to scare people too, because of how sacred and how great that first trilogy is. But the thing is, the original people that worked on the trilogy are coming back, whether it's the writers, cinematographers, all those people. And the new director that was put in place to kind of, take the mantle is Wes Ball, who did the Maze Runner films. And for those of you that really aren't too familiar with them, I really enjoy them, and the aesthetic from the Maze Runner films just feels very similar to the Planet of the Apes when it comes to this weird future. And those are great movies in my opinion, at least. I know some people don't like them, so I have full faith that this movie is going to be great, unexpectedly, and I think it could be one of the best films of the year. My second take that I don't think is really too hot by any means is that after the third film was a misstep, I believe that Kung Fu Panda 4 will actually end up being great and will be right on par with the first and second film. So, like I just said, I think that the first and second Kung Fu Panda films are amazing, but that third one, it just feels like they kind of fell off, and I know that's scaring a lot of people for the fourth film, but I feel like it makes sense that they set up these three villains, then they're all going to be returning for this fourth film, and I feel like this is going to be a good opportunity for, the Dragon Warrior mantle to be passed on. We're going to see our villains returning, and possibly, this is a theory I have, Tai Lung might switch sides and actually join teams with Po for the Chameleon, which seems like a really cool villain. And, it's been a couple of years since the third one, so I feel like they kind of looked back and said, this didn't get the best reviews. How can we encapsulate the fans? And by bringing back all these characters, I'm really excited to see this movie. Getting into my next prediction here, this one isn't really too hot or anything, but I have a feeling that even though I am excited for it, A24's Civil War, that I believe comes out in March or April, is going to be really bad. This is just a prediction. It's kind of like, I'm just trying to anticipate it, I hope this movie's good. I really do. But something about it, I feel like there's a chance that just based on the concept and the way that, this is like an election year for the US, maybe they lean too heavy into the commentary, maybe it's trying to be a little bit too ironic or meta or satire, or it just ends up being a little bit boring and stale. I feel like that could happen. We have a great cast here, but overall, I feel like there's a slight chance that this movie ends up actually being terrible. On the opposite end of that, this is one that I think a lot of people are going to disagree with, and honestly, I'm not really too confident in this one, but I just have this weird feeling in the back of my head that Argylle, that everyone's hating because the trailers have been nonstop playing in the theaters, is actually going to end up being pretty good. Now, I get it. Usually these ensemble cast movies are not great by any means, but something about this film feels a little different. It actually feels like, since it's more of like a unique concept, it feels like there was some love put into it, and I think that the ensemble cast and the people that are actually in this, there's not one particular actor that kind of bothers me. Like, if maybe The Rock was in here, I feel like a lot of people are so sick of him, but I feel like Bryce Dallas Howard, Sam Rockwell, Henry Cavill, John Cena, these are people that people really enjoy and are kind of hot right now, so I think that this will actually end up being a pretty decent movie. Okay, my next prediction is definitely going to be a very hot take, but listen, I hope it's wrong, but I have a feeling that Deadpool 3 is going to end up just being a cameo fest that's poorly written and has a lackluster story. Listen, I know people are super hyped for this movie, it could be great, whatever, but I still don't trust Marvel with their storytelling and with their writing in particular, especially when it comes to their shows and all of that. I get it. We've had outliers like Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but that's because we had a creative mind like James Gunn working on it. We've had Loki. That honestly is just pretty random, but also that was a second season of an already great show. I have nothing to really base Deadpool 3 off of. Yeah, sure, I know the first two Deadpool films a lot of people like. I don't particularly love them, but Sean Levy, yeah, he's a fine director. I don't think he's anything amazing like a Scorsese. I don't think he's anything garbage, but I don't know. I just have a weird feeling that based on the leaks we're seeing, it's going to be too much like, look guys, Easter eggs, cameos, without actually having a good story. And then once kind of the facade, all the flashy stuff ends, and we're like a year out from the movie, we're going to look back and say, damn, maybe Deadpool 3 wasn't actually that good. I can fully admit that this next prediction is completely a shot in the dark. It's like so random, but I think that Nosferatu, Robert Eggers' upcoming vampire film based off the 1922 film, will win Best Picture at the Oscars. Now listen, I know that technically by the end of 2024, this isn't even going to be confirmed. But as of like right now, the way I'm looking at it is like, we know Oppenheimer is going to win Best Picture, so we'll have a feeling by the end of the year. And I have a feeling that when this movie comes out, I think on Christmas, people are going to be amazed by it, and they're going to be like, wow, this is Robert Eggers' true like breakthrough film. I know that he's had great films already, but this is the one that really takes him over the top, and everyone's like, holy shit, this is an amazing movie. And I could really see this happening. Again though, I was looking and I was just trying to find like that art house film or that big name film from a good director that I could see potentially winning Best Picture, maybe Dune 2. But I don't know. This was the only one that stood out to me. Like, you know what? I just want to have like a little hot take, a little hot prediction. So yeah, that's my take. Getting into some box office stuff here, I think that Inside Out 2 is going to be the highest grossing film of 2024, barely beating out Despicable Me 4. Now listen, I know that's a super random take, especially how I said it's going to barely beat out Despicable Me 4, but I have a feeling that since it's a sequel of a film that a lot of people love, people are going to flock to the theaters. It's summertime. This movie comes out in like June. That's a hot time for movies. People are going to eat this movie up. People also love Despicable Me 4, which is also coming out during the summer. So trust me, these two films are going to make a lot of money. This next take is sort of news related for something that I think is going to happen in 2025, that I think is going to be announced during 2024, possibly relatively soon. It's a bit of a wild one here, okay? I think that there's a chance the Thunderbolts movie gets canceled. Yes, canceled, wiped off the board, never is going to see the light of day. You might be saying why. Listen, we've had all this stuff going on with Steven Yeun playing Sentry, the main villain. He just dropped out of that. Apparently they offered the role to another kid, and I'm not really familiar with his name. He passed on the role. They can't even get anybody to play the villain of this movie. I have a feeling this movie is going to end up being canceled. It's supposed to start filming in like April. That's like 2 months away, 2.5 months away. I'm telling you, there's a chance that this movie gets wiped off the board. And when we have Comic-Con, that's going to be coming up soon in like, you know, the summer or whatever, I have a feeling there's going to be an announcement that we're going to see the slate of the upcoming MCU stuff, and the Thunderbolts isn't going to be on there. It's going to be canceled. I'm telling you, there's a chance this happens. And if this becomes true, that would actually be pretty wild. Next prediction. I think that 2024 is going to be the year that kills the Sony superhero, anti-hero verse that they have going on here with like Morbius, Venom, Madam Web, Kraven. And I think that all three of their films coming out this year, Kraven, Madam Web, and Venom 3, are all going to be terrible. And that's why I'm saying I think it's going to be killed. They're going to officially announce at the end of the year they're done with it, almost like in a DCU way. And I'm telling you, this might happen. Madam Web looks like it has potential to be the worst superhero film of all time. I stand on that. I don't care. Kraven, I think, is going to be pretty bad. The trailer did not interest me whatsoever. And Venom 3, I mean, we got the first two Venom films. They're like kind of whatever. They're kind of fun, but they're nothing great. So I don't think this third one's going to be enough to really keep this verse afloat. So yeah, I think this year, it's over. My next prediction, we're going to pretty much be able to see whether it's right or not kind of soon, honestly. That's going to be, I think that objectively, sort of, Spaceman, the Netflix Adam Sandler movie, is going to be a top 10 film of 2024, even if it's towards the back end, even if it's the number 10 on a good amount of people's lists. And listen, I know that might sound kind of crazy because it's a Netflix movie, but Adam Sandler, whenever he shows his dramatic chops, whenever he's out there being a dramatic star, especially at this point in his career, the movies always end up being good. And especially with the sci-fi take this looks like it's trying to go on, and how it's supposed to be like this deep movie about what makes somebody who they are or whatever, looks great. I believe Carey Mulligan, is that her name, is going to be in this, and I'm very excited for this one. Coming up next, I think that Joker 2 is going to follow in the footsteps of the first movie and also make $1 billion, and on top of that, I think it's going to be better than the first. The whole musical concept and the fact that they have Lady Gaga in here playing Harley Quinn, that's awesome. I mean, she was in A Star Is Born where she's playing across from Bradley Cooper, who's a great actor. Now she's in here with Joaquin Phoenix. I think this movie has really great potential, and the music artistic flair, you could say, that it's going to kind of make it stand out from the rest of, superhero movies, and also kind of push itself away from the first. I think that's interesting, and it feels good that we're getting something new with this series. I don't know if there's going to be a third movie, but still, I'm really excited for it. Getting into some hating territory here, I think that this Mufasa film, this live-action Lion King, I don't want to say remake or sequel, whatever, is going to be a disgrace to the original Lion King film and end up just being terrible. Listen, the Lion King movie, like the live-action one or whatever you want to call it, that came out a couple years ago, it made a ton of money, but I think everyone can agree that movie was garbage, and it was disrespectful to the original. I think the fact that they're making a sequel to this one based off Mufasa, I guess, I don't really have too many details about it, I think it's also going to be just terrible while simultaneously making a lot of money, which is kind of unfortunate because there's so many better movies that are coming out this year that I wish would almost take the money from that one. But yeah, I think this movie is going to be awful. Jumping into a spin-off film here, I think that my next prediction is going to be that Ballerina, with the Ana de Armas John Wick spin-off movie, is actually going to be really great, somewhat on par with the original John Wick series, and also it's going to launch a new trilogy. Basically sort of almost like a Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul thing where everyone's like, wow, this new trilogy, this new spin-off is actually pretty much just as good as the original. I really think this has potential to be that, and like I said, I think they're going to greenlight a sequel at the bare minimum, and it's going to be announced that this is going to either be a trilogy or whatever. Regardless, it's going to be a good film. This next prediction, honestly, is definitely like a hot take, but listen, even if it's by the end of 2024, even if it's December, I have a feeling that the MCU, that Disney, is going to announce that they are no longer doing TV shows at all for Disney+. Now I know that seems very unlikely because they want to put content on their streaming service, but they've been getting such bad reviews. They've been getting bombarded by fans for so long, so many years at this point, without really getting like too many amazing shows or anything. I think they're going to pull the plug. I think they're going to say, listen, we can't do this yet. Disney Plus is still not profitable for Disney as a company, which is insane to think about considering how popular it is. But yeah, I think that they're actually going to say, sorry, we're not doing any more MCU shows. And I truly believe that could happen. Getting into some DCU stuff here, which does start this year. I feel like a lot of people keep forgetting that Creature Commandos, the show that's launching the DCU, comes out this year. Everyone keeps forgetting that it's not Superman Legacy in the middle of 2025. But I think that this year, we're going to get the announcement officially that Jason Momoa is going to be Lobo, and we're going to get our Batman. That's either going to be Jensen Ackles or Alan Richardson. Listen, I believe his name's Alan Richardson, the guy that plays Reacher. When it comes to Lobo, I feel like Jason Momoa, there's been all these talks, these rumors. It's basically locked. That's going to be who he's, cast as. And he's going to be working with James Gunn and continuing that. He seems like he has that fun energy, whatever. But for Batman, Jensen Ackles already voiced him. He has that kind of strong appearance. But also, there's been getting a lot of momentum behind the guy that plays Reacher, a show that people are loving. I haven't seen it personally, but honestly, I could see it. He has that look. He has kind of like that powerful, sort of mysterious vibe to him that I really think he could pull it off, especially as almost like a larger Batman, because, the guy's huge. He's ripped. So I could really see that working out, and I think one of them are going to be cast this year. Coming up next, I don't really have too much to say about this sequel, but I think that Dune 2, my prediction is going to be, this film is going to be a modern sequel masterpiece, and it's going to crack $1 billion. I believe that the first Dune made something like around $400 million in the theaters, which might sound low, but that's extremely impressive when you take into account that, first of all, it released on streaming, and also this was in 2021 where, the pandemic stuff was still going on. So yeah, I think that both those things are going to happen. This film really does have potential to be great, especially with the way that the first one set it up. and oh, man, I think it's gonna crack $1 billion. My next prediction isn't one that can really have a concrete answer, but I feel like we can still kind of just get an idea or just a sense of if this is true. I think that by the end of 2024, people are gonna feel more refreshed when it comes to superhero content. I know that like throughout this year, there's a couple of movies coming out, but they're all bad. No one's really gonna see them. And I feel like as we go into 2025, people are gonna be ready and just feel, like I said, refreshed going into some banger superhero movies. I know people have been talking about superhero fatigue, this, that. I feel like this is gonna be the year that kind of just cleanses everybody of that, since we're not getting that much, especially with like the MCU, and things will return to form. This is my second to last prediction here, and listen, you guys might call me a hater, whatever. I think that the Agatha MCU show that's coming out later this year is gonna end up being horrible. And again, I think that kind of playing into what I said before about how MCU shows might be canceled, I think that the reviews for the show are gonna be just awful. And listen, I like Agatha as a character, she's cool, but does she really need her own show? After just watching Echo, another show that's kind of like a spin-off of another MCU show, I don't think that we need these shows. And I just can't see a world where this show has any type of importance or substance or value. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I guess we'll see once we get there. My final prediction here is definitely a hot take, but it's just something I hope comes true. Adam Driver is cast as Dr. Doom at the upcoming Comic-Con that's coming out. Listen, this summer is going to be a huge Comic-Con for both DC and Marvel. They need to put on a show because we don't really know what's going on with the DCU and the MCU to an extent, even into like 2026. I think this is where they announce a lot of stuff, and to get people excited, we're going to pivot from Kang, and they're going to say, we have the new big bad for whether it's the Fantastic Four movie, or the Secret Wars film, or the Avengers 5, I don't know. Adam Driver is going to be our next Doctor Doom. Again, just kind of me saying this on a whim because I want it to happen. I want it to be true. But especially now that he's not our Mr. Fantastic, there's a greater chance. And he's worked with Disney before. He was Kylo Ren. So I believe there's a chance this could happen. But yeah, guys, let me know down in the comments. Do you have any predictions for the rest of 2024 film-wise? Whether it's news, a movie's going to be really good or really bad, or just anything, box office stuff. I would love to hear it. But guys, thank you for watching this video. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video.